So in the last class, what we have seen that if we are able to design, a transfer function which is in analog domain, then we can convert that transfer function into the equivalent digital transfer function or the transfer function in digital domain by using bilinear transformation. Okay, that we have seen in the last class. Now today we'll check the same thing, means we will have a analog transfer function. We have to represent that analog transfer function into the digital mode, but you have to use the impulse invariance method. So today we'll check the same thing, that is converting the analog transfer function into digital by using impulse invariant method. Okay, so in this method, what are the steps involved are, the first is that you will have a transfer function in analog domain or in the Laplace domain. That is your transfer function that you will have Laplace domain. Okay, the first step in the impulse invariant method is that you have to convert HAS, that is the transfer function in Laplace domain, into HA of t. That means in time domain. So to do that, what you need to do, you have to apply inverse Laplace transform. That will be your first step. Whatever the transfer function will be given in Laplace domain, first you will apply inverse Laplace transform to get the h small h a of t. Now whenever you have got that value, then you have to convert h a of t into h, or simply h of nt. Means what we are doing, simply we are sampling t by nt, and capital T defines what? The sampling period. Capital T defines here the sampling period. Okay, so whenever we will get the value of h of nt, that is the sampled version of the signal, so obviously you can do that Z transform, you can do, or you can apply Z transform over that sampled version, and you can get h of z. Okay, so that will be your step for impulse invariant method, simply to convert the HAS into h of z. So I think it is clear to all of you how to convert HAS into HZ. Now,
Yes, sir.
okay, now simply consider, let us consider h a of s is a value k equal to 1 to n ak s minus pk, means simply a1 s minus p1 plus a2 s minus p2 plus a3 s minus p3, like that. So this is your HAS value. If this is your HAS value, then what is your first step? I have told you step 1 that you need to convert it into HT. That means inverse Laplace transform you have to apply. Simply if we apply inverse Laplace transform, then you will get H A of t, and that is inverse Laplace transform will be what? Summation of k equal to 1 to n ak s minus pk. Okay, so what we can write that expression? We can write that expression in the splitted form. In the splitted form means like that: Laplace inverse of, for k equal to 1 to n, for k equal to 1, a1 s minus p1, that is 1, plus inverse Laplace transform of, for k equal to 2, that is a2 s minus p2, plus for inverse Laplace transform of nth number up to n, that is n s minus pn. Okay, so simply if we split, we'll get like that. Now all of you know, simply if we consider inverse Laplace transform of 1 by s minus a, the value is e to the power at multiplied to ut. That is known by us. So that formula we need to use here simply. So if you use that formula, what we will get? H at, that will be defined as, this value will be what? A1 will be outside because A1 is constant. So 1 by s minus p1. So inverse Laplace transform of 1 by s minus p1 will be e to the power
PT. P1T.
p1t ut. So similarly, plus a2 e to the power p2t ut, plus that will be up to n. So an e to the power pnt ut. Okay, so that you will get. Now as you have got the value of ht, what will be your next step? Obviously your next step,
sampling করতে হবে.
yes, you need to do the sampling, means simply replace t by nt. So that will give you h of nt will be a1 e to the power p1 nt ut plus a2 e to the power p2 nt, sorry, ut will also be unt, that will also be sampled. So u nt plus that will be up to n. So an e to the power pn multiplied by nt u of nt. So if we write this in the summation format, what we can write, that a varies from 1 to n, summation k equal to 1 to n. A varies from 1 to n means ak, when k equal to 1 that will be a1, when k equal to n that will be an, multiplied by p1 p2 up to pn. So e to the power pk into each and every value is multiplied by nt into u of nt. So that will be your value for the sampled sequence. So that will be your sampled HNT. Okay. So what should be your next step?
Z transform.
Your next step will be you have to apply Z transform over that sampled sequence. So if we apply Z transform over that sampled sequence, so you will get hz, and formula of hz you know that summation n equal to minus infinity to infinity h nt into z to the power minus n
My
a xn into z to the power minus n, hz equal to summation of z n equal to minus infinity to infinity hn into z to the power minus n. That is your formula.
yes, sir.
That is your formula. So in that formula, hn defines this hnt. So obviously hz will be summation of n equal to minus infinity to infinity hnt z to the power minus n, where hnt defines by that value. Here you have unt. What does that means? For simply unt, that will be 0 for n less than 0. That is the unit step characteristics, and that will be 1 for n greater than equal to 0. That is the characteristics of our unit impulse response. Okay, so for this case you can see that if we consider n from 0 to if we consider n from minus infinity to minus 1, all the un value will be 0. So 0 multiplied to the values will be 0. So minus infinity to minus 1, you will not get any value. So summation will be valid only for n equal to 0 to plus infinity. Okay, and over that hnt value is given as a k e to the sorry there is a summation. So summation k equal to 1 to n a k e to the power pk into nt. unt value is 1, so I am not writing now. Bracket close, and that is multiplied by z to the power minus n. Okay. So now from here, what you can do? See, I'm writing that part first. Means summation k equal to 1 to capital N a k is not dependent on small n value. So what I am doing? I am writing that thing fast, that is k equal to 1 to n a k and other parameters. Other parameters means you have summation n equal to 0 to infinity, summation n equal to 0 to infinity e to the power p k n t into z to the power minus n. So from here simply if we make common to the power that n part, what we will get? If we make common the n, we will get summation k equal to 1 to n a k. It will be as it is, summation n equal to 0 to infinity e to the power pk into t multiplied by z to the power minus 1, and that is overall n. Okay, so what is the meaning of that? What is the meaning of that parameter? Summation n equal to 0 to infinity a to the power n, that defines value of 1 by 1 minus a. Okay, all of you know that, you should know that for a power n of a value for a range from 0 to infinity, if we want to calculate, we will get a value 1 by 1 minus a. So for this case, what will be the value? Summation k equal to 1 to n a k, that value will be 1 by 1 minus e to the power pk into t z to the power minus 1. Okay, I think it is clear to all of you up to that.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so if we do the z transform, we are getting an expression k equal to 1 to n a k 1 minus e to the power pk.
And এটা কি স্যার টু টু দি পাওয়ার ইনভার্স?
হ্যাঁ, কি বলছিস?
এটা স্যার টু টু দি পাওয়ার ইনভার্স, ই টু দি পাওয়ার পিকে।
2 টু দি পাওয়ার কেন হবে? ই টু দি পাওয়ার।
স্যার ই টু দি পাওয়ার পিকে টি ইনটু জেড ইনভার্স না টু ইনভার্স এটা?
ই টু দি পাওয়ার পিকে টি ইনভার্স। 2 কেন হবে এখানে? 2 কোথায় আছে? দ্যাট ইজ জেড, দ্যাট ইজ জেড।
হ্যাঁ স্যার।
Okay.
হ্যাঁ স্যার।
So that is the expression you are getting. So that is your hz. Okay. So in that way, from hs to hz you will get the hs value that you have. The hs value that you have, HAS summation k equal to 1 to n a k s minus pk. That was your hs value, and from here you have calculated your hz value. So that is your step you have to maintain. Okay. So that is the process to calculate hz using impulse invariance method. Now matter is that we have to now check whether that method satisfying our filter characteristics or not. So to do that, what to do that okay, what we need to do, we need to compare these two equations. Compare means compare the poles of these two equations. So simply if we consider HAS, here S equal to PK is your pole for k equal to 1 to n obviously, and for this case value of z is e to the power pkt, e to the power pkt, that will be your pole for z. So if we compare these two, we can simply write what? Z equal to e to the power st. Simply pk equal to s, that pk equal to s. So simply we are representing pk by s. So we are getting z equal to e to the power st. Means we are getting a relation between the Laplace domain and the z domain. Okay. Now in that relationship, if we want to compare or if we want to check the real part and imaginary part, what we will get? To convert this into real and imaginary part, we know z equal to r e to the power z equal to r into e to the power j omega, j that omega, keep in mind that omega defines the digital frequency, angular frequency. Okay, and s that we know sigma plus j omega, and obviously that omega defines the analog angular frequency. Okay, so simply if we replace these two in that expression, we can get r e to the power j omega, that will be equal to e to the power sigma t plus j omega t, or simply e to the power sigma t into e to the power j omega t. So if we compare the real part and imaginary part, that real part r will be e to the power sigma t, and imaginary part, the real part will be r equal to e to the power sigma t, and the imaginary part e to the power j omega will be e to the power j omega t, or simply that omega will be equal to that omega t. So digital omega equal to analog omega into the sampling period. Okay, so these are the two expressions we are getting. Simply if we consider the frequency domain for both cases, analog and digital. Okay, now check it whether this is satisfying our condition or not. Means all of we know that in Z transform, whenever we will calculate the pole for the filter, that pole must contain a unit circle. That is the real part of Z, that is the imaginary part of Z. Means what? Meaning is that if the ROC contains the unit circle, then the filter is stable and causal. That we will get. So that property must be maintained to the filter. So to maintain the filter, all the poles must be inside the unit circle. If all the poles you are getting inside the unit circles, means what? Depending on that pole, your ROC will be created. So outside that pole, all values will be your ROC. So obviously 1 will be within the ROC. That 1 will be within ROC, means that satisfying our filter condition, stability and causality. That we have seen in few class back. So that condition must be maintained. And also for S plane, what we have seen that is the real part of S defined by sigma, that is the imaginary part of S defined by j omega. Okay, and in the S plane we have seen that left side defines as hs, right side defines as hf minus s. So whatever we have considered the S plane, all the poles we have considered in that side, and to the right side whatever the value will be given, that value will be the mirror part of the left side. Whenever we have considered the Butterworth filter, we have checked that. So what we will do, we will check whether all the poles towards that left side satisfying that condition or not. Means simply all the poles related to sigma less than equal to 0. Obviously that is sigma equal to 0, that part, that is sigma equal to 0. And if you go towards that part, sigma obviously less than equal to 0 from here. So for sigma less than equal to 0, we will check that condition is satisfied or not. If this is satisfied, that means that is okay. So simply if we replace sigma equal to any negative value, means negative sigma, if we replace negative sigma in the real part, what we are getting? r equal to e to the power minus sigma t, means simply 1 by e to the power sigma t, that is obviously less than 1. Okay, so replace any value of sigma in that equation, you will get a value of r which is less than 1. So that is the value of r, that is the real axis. Whatever the value of r will be within that range, within that range. Clear? Up to that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that means for sigma equal to negative, all the values we are getting inside the circle. Means if the poles are like that in the negative side, for those cases we are getting the values or the poles for z transform inside the circle. Similarly, if we have a pole, if we have a pole over the axis, means that is for sigma equal to 0. For this case, if we replace sigma equal to 0, r will be e to the power 0, means equal to 1. For sigma equal to 0, what we are getting? All the poles will be over that circle. All the poles will be over that circle, because sigma equal to 0, if we replace, we are getting e to the power 0, that is 1. So r value will be 1. So all the poles will be over that circle. So that is also satisfying the condition, stability and causality. And if we consider poles in that side, you can easily check poles to that side, means sigma greater than 1. So obviously it will be r equal to e to the power sigma t, and that is obviously greater than 1. If replace any value of sigma, you will get a value greater than 1. So it will be, for this case, whatever the poles or the equivalent pole in the z plane, you will get in the outside of 1. So simply, if we got a pole like that, and if we draw the circle related to that pole, and that will be your ROC. So that ROC will not contain the unit circle. Defines the system is unstable. Okay, that means we cannot consider values like that. So we have to consider the value of sigma less than and equal to 0. For this case, sigma value must be less than equal to 0 to satisfy the condition r value is less than equal to, or simply yes, r value is less than equal to 1. If that condition satisfied, then our causality and stability also satisfies. Okay, any question up to that?
No, sir.
না স্যার।
আচ্ছা, ক্লিয়ারলি বোঝার চেষ্টা করবে, হ্যাঁ। If you have
Yes,
any
sir.
doubt, then you will ask me, you must ask me.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so that for the real part. So simply, after mapping to the z axis with the s axis, or simply s domain with the z domain for the impulse invariant method, we have seen that that condition must be maintained, that sigma must be less than equal to 0. Okay, now next equation that we have is that omega equal to omega t, or the digital omega equal to analog omega into t. If this we consider, we have omega equal to, digital omega equal to analog omega into t. In that expression, try to understand it very clearly. In that expression, digital omega defines a range. What should be the range for digital omega? Give me the answer. What should be the range for digital omega? Obviously a finite range. And what is the value of that finite range? Minus pi to pi. Already I have told you that whenever we are designing a digital filter or any FIR filter, finite impulse response filter, we will consider a range in the positive side up to pi. We are not considering the negative side because you are getting exactly the mirror part. So if we make the magnitude same and the phase negative, we will get that part. So we are not considering that part. To design the filter, we are considering only the positive part, and the positive part varies from 0 to pi. So total range for a filter which is in digital format is from minus pi to plus pi. Keep in mind it. And for analog filter, we have a filter like that, and that continues, means it's like that. That is your omega p, that is your omega s, and that going towards the infinity. There is no stop, that goes towards the infinity. So that is your analog filter. So that is 0 to infinity, and in the negative side it is up to minus infinity. So the range is from minus infinity to plus infinity. So analog filter will have a range of minus infinity to plus infinity. Meaning what? Digital filter is equal to analog filter multiplied by a sampling time. Means a range from minus infinity to infinity, we are mapping that range within a minus pi to pi range. Got it or not? Simply suppose 1 lakh, from minus 1 lakh to plus 1 lakh, suppose. That range we are trying to map for a range. Suppose consider, for example, minus 10 to 10. So you have 1 lakh number of sample to the negative side, 1 lakh number of sample to the positive side. So total 2 lakh of samples you have. If we consider from negative to positive, total samples you will have 2 lakh. Okay. Now that sample will be presented within a 20 value. From minus 10 to 10, that is will be exactly 21 if we consider. But for example, suppose 20. So for 20 values, we have to represent that 2 lakh values within that 20 values. Means what? Meaning is that we cannot count each and every point separately after mapping. If we simply map this 2 lakh into 20, we cannot count each and every point separately. There must be values like that. For one value we are getting, and the same value may be in the same position. That may happen. Means aliasing may happen. Clear what I am trying to say? Simply 2 লাখ পয়েন্টকে যদি 20টা পয়েন্টের মধ্যে ম্যাপ করতে চাস, অবভিয়াসলি 20টা পয়েন্ট 2 লাখ পয়েন্টকে ম্যাপিং দেখাবে না। সো একটা পয়েন্টে মোর দ্যান ওয়ান ভ্যালু ডিফাইন করবে, দ্যাট ইজ ইউর অ্যালাইজিং। ওকে, means if we consider that case, aliasing effect will come. Clear or not?
স্যার আরেকবার বলবেন, ঠিক বুঝতে পারলাম না।
ওকে, বলছি। I am giving you a simple example. এখন কে জয়েন করছে রে? I am giving you a simple example. Example is that you have, suppose, 10 positions like that. Position 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. That 10 position here you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That 10 position defines by digital omega. Now you have analog omega minus infinity to infinity. So suppose or simply 2000. Just for example I am considering that 2000 defines from minus infinity to infinity. So that 2000 analog values for 2000 range will be sampled by NT. You can check it here that omega equal to omega t, that means that analog range is sampled by t. So if we sample that 2000 value, you will have a 2000 number of points here, 1 to 2000. Now if we want to map this to that, means each and every point will be represented here. Each and every point if we want to represent here, what we'll get? Does the 10 number of points individually can able to represent 2000 number of points? Obviously not. So what you have to do, simply one point must be represented by more than one number of point in that side. So in the digital domain, if we consider one point, in digital domain if we consider one point, that one point must be represented or must represent more than one number of point in the analog domain, then only you can map it. Clear or not?
হ্যাঁ স্যার।
So what is the meaning of that? You are getting a signal like that. The first period is ending here, but next period is starting from here. Means what? Overlapping you are getting. So for this case also overlapping will happen. 10 position must be used to represent 2000 position. So must be overlapping will be there. So that overlapping is called the aliasing. Means what? Aliasing will happen if we consider omega equal to omega t. So obviously for impulse invariant method you have to use that, otherwise you will not get your digital filter from the analog filter. So keep in mind that is the main disadvantage of an impulse invariant method. The disadvantage is that aliasing will happen. Okay, clear?
হ্যাঁ স্যার।
Okay, so step by step if we see all the part, just I am trying to show you, or simply I am trying to show you each step so that you can understand it very clearly. We have a analog frequency, analog transfer function in the Laplace domain. That analog transfer function in the first step is converted in the time domain by using the inverse Laplace transform. So after using the inverse Laplace transform, we have got the transfer function in time domain. Now that transfer function, after getting in time domain, we have converted that into a sample domain by simply making the sampling or simply putting t equal to nt. So in sample domain we have got that value. Now after sample domain, what we have done? We have done the Z transform over that sampled sequence, and after doing the Z transform we have got that expression. Okay, Hz equal to that expression. Now we have compared, see Hz and Has are look alike, k equal to 1 to n for this case for Z transform. For Laplace transform also k equal to 1 to n. You have the numerator ak, you have the numerator ak, only change that you have in the denominator. So that too we have considered. In the denominator we have considered the poles, that is s equal to pk, that is the pole, and for this case considered we have considered the poles, that is z equal to e to the power pkt. To calculate the poles, all of you know the denominator will be equal to 0. From here simply if we calculate the value of z, you will get e to the power pk into t. So these are the two poles for S mode and Z mode we are getting. So what we are doing, in the value of pk we have simply replaced S because S equal to pk. So we have got Z equal to e to the power st. Okay, now from here we are trying to check whether this condition, this equation satisfies our characteristics or the filter characteristics or not. For that case we have represented Z and S in the imaginary domain, or simply in the complex domain, and compared the real part and imaginary part. So we have replaced Z equal to R e to the power j omega, where the omega is defined by the digital frequency, and in S domain, that is S equal to sigma plus j omega, where that omega defines the analog frequency. Okay, so we have replaced the value of Z and S here, and we have compared the real part and imaginary part. By comparing that, we have got R equal to e to the power sigma t and omega equal to, or the digital omega equal to analog omega into t. Okay, now from R equal to e to the power sigma t, we have checked whether the stability and causality condition is satisfied or not. For that case we have seen that if we consider value of sigma is greater than value of sigma is less than equal to 0, then R equal to, or simply R less than equal to 0 is satisfied. if r less than equal to 1 is satisfied. If r less than equal to 1 is satisfied, means the filter is stable and causal. Okay, so after that, what we are doing, simply we are considering the second equation. Second equation defines a problem. The problem is that aliasing effect is coming. Aliasing effect, how it is coming? Here we are trying to map a infinite number of sequence into a finite number of parameter. So whenever we are trying to represent an infinite number of sequence to a finite number of parameter, aliasing effect will come. So as a result, we are getting the aliasing effect, and that is the main disadvantage of the impulse invariance method. Okay, so that is your impulse invariance method. So up to that, if you have any question, you should ask me now. Any question or no question?
No question, sir. Understood, sir.
Okay. Okay. Then consider a problem. The problem is like that. One analog transfer function HAS is given, and it is given like that: 1 by s plus 1 into s plus 2. You need to convert that analog transfer function into digital transfer function, that is in HZ, by considering the impulse invariance method, where Fs frequency or the sampling frequency is given as 5 samples per second. So that is your problem. HA is given, you have to calculate HZ, where Fs is given 5. Okay, so to solve that problem, you have to maintain all the steps. That is, from HAS you have to calculate HT. After HT you have to discretize that, means you have to do the sampling over HT to get HNT, and then you have to use the Z transform over HNT to get the HZ. Okay, so for that case you have HAS is that expression. What we are doing, simply we are using the partial fraction expansion method to separate these two expression. Okay, so using partial fraction expansion method, we can write s plus 1 plus b by s plus 2. So where value of a will be what? I think all of you know the partial fraction expansion method. For that method, value of a will be s plus 1 into hs. Hs is 1 by s plus 1 into s plus 2 for s equal to minus 1. So s plus 1 will be cancelled out. If we replace s equal to minus 1, it will be 1 by minus 1 plus 2, that is 1 by 1, or simply value of a will be 1. Similarly, value of b will be s plus 2, that will be multiplied by hs, that is 1 by s plus 1, s plus 2 for s equal to minus 2. So in that case, s plus 2 will be cancelled out. If we replace s equal to minus 2, so minus 2 plus 1, it will be minus 1. So 1 by minus 1, it will be minus 1. So value of a and b, we are getting plus 1 and minus 1. So obviously it will be 1 by s plus 1 minus of 1 by s plus 2. So simply we have divided into two parts the equation. Now over that, if we apply the inverse Laplace transform to calculate h,
স্যার
yes,
স্যার বলছি এটাকে পার্সিয়াল ফ্র্যাকশনে না ভেঙে যদি ডাইরেক্ট ভেঙে দিই তাহলেও তো এই ভ্যালুটাই আসছে।
obviously করতে পারিস, কোনো ব্যাপার না, just you have to split that split into two part.
ওকে স্যার,
If you can able to write down directly, you can do that, no problem.
ঠিক আছে স্যার।
Okay. So now over that, if we use the inverse Laplace transform to get the HAT, what you will get? Inverse Laplace transform over that expression minus inverse Laplace transform over that expression. What the value you will get? Give me the answer.
স্যার e to the power minus 1 আর e to the power minus 1t আর e to the power minus 2t.
Exactly. And where will it be?
ut.
Yes. If we don't write ut, it is completely wrong. Keep in mind. So inverse Laplace transform will give you e to the power minus t ut and e to the power minus 2t ut. So value of ht will be this one. So obviously discretized, make it discretized means make it sample. Hnt will be e to the power minus nt minus e to the power minus 2nt of unt. So that will be your sample domain. Now what you need to do, we need to apply Z transform over that. So obviously hz, that you will get summation of, I am writing directly, okay, as unt you have, so it will be n equal to 0 to infinity, and hnt, that is e to the power minus nt minus e to the power minus 2nt multiplied by z to the power minus n, and unt will be 1 for this range. Now simply if we do the Z transform, or first if we simply split this into two parts, just you need to do the solution, nothing else. N equal to 0 to infinity, e to the power nt and z to the power minus n. So if we make n common, e to the power minus t into z to the power minus 1 whole to the power n, that is one part, minus summation of n equal to 0 to infinity for the second part. Again if you make n common, e to the power minus 2t into z to the power minus 1 whole to the power n. So again summation of my 0 to infinity a to the power n formula, if we use that formula, 1 by 1 minus a, 1 by 1 minus e to the power minus t z to the power minus 1 minus 1 by 1 minus e to the power minus 2t z to the power minus 1. So these are the two values you are getting. And simply if we add up 1 minus e to the power minus 2t z to the power minus 1 minus 1 plus e to the power minus t z to the power minus 1 and 1 minus e to the power minus t z to the power minus 1 multiplied by 1 minus e to the power minus 2t z to the power minus 1. So 1 will be cancelled out, and f is given 5, fs is given 5 sample per second. Therefore ts, or simply that t will be given 1 by fs, that is 1 by 5, so 0 0.2. 0 0.2, that will be the value of t. Okay, so we will replace the value of t as a 0 0.2. We'll make z common from here, so z to the power minus 1, z to the power minus 1, what we are getting, e to the power minus t, or simply value of minus t is 0 0.2 minus e to the power minus 2t, means minus 0 0.4, and here 1 minus e to the power minus 0 0.2 z inverse, and 1 minus e to the power minus 0 0.4 z inverse. Okay, so that is your result. And in that expression, simply if we replace the value e to the power minus 0 0.2 and e to the power minus 0 0.4 by using your calculator, and simply if we remove the z inverse by multiplying z square to the both side, or simply numerator and denominator by multiplying z square, if we do that, the final result that we will get 0 0.148 z by z square minus 1.48 z plus 0 0.548. That will be your result. So that is the technique, or that is the process to calculate the, or simply to convert the analog transfer function into the digital transfer function by using the impulse invariant method. So clear to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
As a
Okay, then I am giving you some home task. Just try to solve all the parameter. Then the impulse invariant method as well as the bilinear transformation method will be clear to all of you. So for the both method, I am giving you some examples, and also the how to design the filter. That is for that case also I am giving you some examples. You must try at your home. Okay. Problem number 1. All of you write it down or simply make a screenshot, whatever will be easy for you. For the given specification, design an analog Butterworth filter given 0.9 less than equal to h j omega less than equal to 1, for 0 less than equal to omega less than equal to 0.2 pi. Okay, and h j omega, that value will be less than equal to 0.2 for 0.4 pi less than equal to less than omega less than pi. For this case, you have to calculate the Butterworth filter, means the filter transfer function. Okay, so that is the first problem. Second problem is that design a second order discrete time Butterworth filter. Design a second order discrete time Butterworth filter with cutoff frequency of 1 kilohertz. Cutoff frequency of 1 kilohertz and sampling frequency of 10 to the power 4 samples per second by bilinear transformation method. So that is your second problem. Next is using bilinear transformation design a Butterworth filter. Design a Butterworth filter which satisfies the following condition. Satisfies the following conditions. Condition is that 0.8 less than equal to h e to the power j omega less than equal to 1, for 0 less than equal to omega less than equal to 0.2 pi, and h e to the power j omega, that is less than equal to 0.2 for 0.6 pi less than equal to omega less than equal to pi. That is your third problem. And from impulse invariant method, problem number 4, obtain a digital filter transfer function by applying impulse invariant method on the analog transfer function h a of s equal to s by s square plus 3s plus 2 for fs equal to 1 k sample, 1 kilo sample per second. Okay, so that is your problem 4. Problem 5 is that consider a causal continuous time system with impulse response HCT and system is HCS equal to S plus A whole square plus B square. Okay, where use impulse invariant to determine Hz for a discrete system such that HC HCN equal to HCNT. Okay, and the last problem is that convert an analog filter with system function Hs into digital IIR filter using impulse invariant method. Okay, where the analog filter Hs is given as 10 by s square plus 7s plus 10. So these are the home task you should try at your home. Okay, so সবাই লিখে নিয়েছিস না দেখো প্রথম থেকে একবার?
স্যার লিখেছি স্যার।
সবাই লিখেছিস তো? নইলে আমার স্ক্রিনশট
লিখে নিয়েছি।
ওকে ঠিক আছে, যারা লিখিস নি একবার দেখে স্ক্রিনশট নিয়ে নিতে পারিস। দ্যাট ইজ ইউর ফার্স্ট টু প্রবলেমস। That is your problem number 3 and 4. And that is your problem number 5 and 6. Problem number 5 and 6.